This tape has been copyrighted. Any duplication or reproduction without written consent is prohibited.
I want to take some questions. We can do anything you want. I mean, you can ask me questions about closing. You can ask me any kind of question you want to ask. Generally, I get a lot of voice tells. People are asking me questions all the time. This is a perfect opportunity for you to do that. But I do want to mention closing real quick because I think the one thing, you have to learn technique. I mean, if you're going to be great at anything you do, I don't care what you get involved in. I know if you think of John, when you got in the military and you started doing jumping out of airplanes, there is a technique to doing that properly. If you're not taught the proper technique, you could break your legs, you could hurt yourself, right? So technique is important. If you're going to do macrame, there's a technique to doing macrame. If you don't learn how to do it properly, you're going to struggle with it. If you're going to shoot free throws in basketball, there is a technique to doing it that Shaq hasn't figured out yet, that if you learn it, you can be accurate at it, okay? There is technique. And if you're a golfer, and I'm a golfer, and I'm trying to be a good golfer, there's technique to having better results, hitting the ball straighter, all kinds of things, okay? And I see people, golf is a perfect analogy because I play a lot, and I've spent a lot of money on getting technique. I went to short game school, Dave Pelz. I spent $2,700 to spend 3 days with the best short game specialist in the country. I spent a lot of money. I probably in the last 5 years, I've been really serious about golf. I don't know. I think I've spent somewhere in the area of around maybe $50,000 to $100,000 on trying to get good at golf, okay? And I play golf with people all the time, and I see people that have been playing for 25 years. They're still 18 handicaps, and they have no clue. Their technique sucks. I tell them, look, you need to move the ball a little further back in your stance, and they try it for a second, and then the next thing, they got it right back up again. And you try to help them, and they keep having the same stupid, crappy results because they won't learn technique. And if they just did that simple thing, they could move their game forward. And the same thing happens in PFS and in the sales business. People just try to wing it on their personality, and you can have success. John said that. You just try to sheer force your personality. But at some point, if you learn technique, you make your life easier. It just gets easier. When I got in PFS, to me, this was like going to Disneyland compared to what I used to do. When I used to try to close somebody on a $1,000 wedding set, where I'd have to try to get them to put 50% down, $500 in cash, and then make payments for a year, when they had no money, right? And then I got at PFS, and then I was able. They were spending $150 a month on $50,000, and I could give them $300,000 for $50 a month. I went, this is not a sale. This is a joke. And then I have people struggling with overcoming, because they have no technique. You don't know how to ask questions properly. So the most important thing that you have to learn to recruit somebody, to get somebody to a meeting, to close a transaction, is you've got to get great at asking questions. Most of you talk too much and listen way too little. You have 2 ears, 1 mouth. God made them in that proportion on purpose, okay? You should start using them exactly in that proportion. And so one of the things that I did is what I got great at doing is asking questions. If you notice, I'm going to do some things right now. I rarely say anything, and I'm always asking questions, leading you to a conclusion that makes sense for you, and you're the one that makes the decision. I never make the decision. I just lead you through the questioning process, which Tom, obviously, I learned through Tom, right? And it's easy. Nothing to it. It's real simple, and it could work with anything, right? So the other issue is you have a better quality of life when you're able to help people move over to your ideas. If you're going out with friends and they're going, what should we do? Whoever's the better closer gets to do what they want. Right? If you're going out to dinner, you're going, where should we go? And you're better at closing, you get to eat the food you want to eat. Okay? It just works. If you want to, Jan's learned all these techniques already, so she's got me on that. Knows exactly what I'm doing. She was competing with Tom Hawkins, so. But I just think it's important. So those of you that are fighting that, God bless you, but you're just making your life way more difficult than it needs to be. You just really are, okay? And you don't need to be this master person, okay? But there is some real simple things, which is the question answering here. So I'm going to go ahead and take some questions. Just wanted to put that out there. And first question.
Hector, first I want to thank you for this great weekend. You guys are awesome. The other...
Thank you.
We had a voice tell. I mean, we had a conference call with you with the RVPs, and you did a little. You hired us over the phone, and you really got us involved, and made it really feel comfortable, and you just really questioned us at the end of a presentation on getting involved in your business. Could you go through that scenario?
Yeah, what I did is, this is how I recruited people. I mean, everybody has their own technique. I think that you close people emotionally and you rationalize it logically. You know, you've heard that before, and it's really true. The truth is, if you think about every decision you make, every choice you make every decision emotionally, and then you rationalize it logically. I mean, from the underwear you buy, to a dishwasher, to a car, to anything. I mean, we buy things, and Madison Avenue is awesome at doing that, creating an aura about a product to make you emotionally want the product. You know, and they really do. They do a great job. That's why so many things are sold, and you don't even know it's happening, but it's happening. They make you think if you buy this certain kind of car, you're going to be really attractive, or if you wear these certain clothes, you know, you're going to be cool, or if you own this certain kind of dishwasher or any kind of appliance, that you're going to be state of the art, and you're going to be in the eyes of your friends, you're going to be held in higher esteem. You don't know this is happening, but I'm telling you, it's happening, and you don't even realize generally that you're making these decisions, but you're making these decisions. And then you justify it later, you rationalize it later with logic. That's how we do it. That's who we are, that we're human beings, okay? So if you're going to recruit somebody into the business, you have to do it emotionally, I think. And I don't care if you're even talking to the guy that's the most conservative, engineering type of individual, you still do it. So if I'm trying to recruit Danny, right, and you can't say these things if they're not true, okay? So you've got to know a little bit about the person. You've got to ask them some questions. But the fact is, if I do a presentation, if I'm recruiting Danny Duffy, and we're sitting down, I go through the company credibility, right, which is unbelievable today. I go through what we do for the client. I show them a sample F&A where we save the client, you know, $150,000 in interest. They're going to have $1 million more in cash or retirement. They're going to be out of debt, you know, 12 years sooner. You know, all these things that we do for a client, and I show you the company, and then I show you the compensation, right? The compensation, if you build an organization, is unbelievable. If you develop good quality RVPs, that's about a $50,000 to $100,000 annuity to you every year for every good first generation RVP you develop. You know, and I get you to understand that. There is no logical reason why you wouldn't get involved if you believed you could accomplish that, right? I mean, let's face it. So the only thing is there's a belief level. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to appeal to Danny's sense of who he wants to be, what he wants to do with his life. So I'd ask questions. This is what I used to ask all the time. I say, Danny, were you ever an athlete? I mean, did you ever do some sports, or you like sports?
Yeah, I do.
Like, what's your favorite sport?
Football.
Football. Now, if you could have been played on any team, which team would you have liked to have played on?
Minnesota Vikings.
The Vikings, right? During what era? When Fran Tarkenton was there, and that sort of thing? Yeah. I mean, could you imagine, what position would you have wanted to play?
Tight end.
Tight end. I mean, could you imagine what it would have felt like to play on those championship teams? What would you have given to do that?
Anything, really.
I mean, to be somebody, when you walk into the stadium, you hear the fans cheering. I mean, it would be unbelievable, wouldn't it?
Yes,
Could you
it
just
would.
imagine it?
Sure.
Or after the game, and you lived in Minnesota, and you know you're the hero in the town. You walk into a restaurant, and everybody's high-fiving you, and they're taking pictures of you, and they want your autograph. I mean, wouldn't that be just unbelievable to feel that way?
Sure.
I mean, in your heart of hearts, you would love that, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would.
And you know, me too. That's kind of where I was at. I'm one of those athletes that, you know, I was pretty good. You know, I played high school sports, and I even played in college. You know, I played a small college. I was okay. I was pretty decent, but I was never great. You know, and that used to really bug me. Does that bug you that you were never really great at something?
Yes.
And so, see, when I saw PFS, I saw PFS as a way for me once in my life to be great at something. That's what I saw it as. I saw it as a way, you know, before I died, that I could do something unbelievable with my life. That in the eyes of my family, in the eyes of my contemporaries, that I could really be somebody special, that I could build a business and help people and win, you know. And that was important to me. Is that still important to you? If there was a possibility, Danny, that could happen in your life, would you be open to that?
Sure would.
I mean, really, was that something you'd like?
Sure, I haven't thought about it for a while, but now that you talk about that,
Sure.
Sure.
You know, when you walk into a room, wouldn't you love to just walk into a room and everybody turns their head and they go, "Oh my God, there's Danny Duffy."
Sure.
I mean, see, that to me, I don't know if that's important to you, but to me, that was really important, okay? And I saw PFS as a way for me to do that. And so, in PFS, it's not the whole world like sports would be, but in PFS, you can be Michael Jordan. You could be Fran Tarkenton. You could be anybody you want to be. You really can, because it's a pretty big organization. There's 100 and some thousand people. We have these conventions where you go to, and if you're a star, man, you're a star just like people want your autograph. They want to take pictures with you. And I saw that, and I said, I want that. And that was one of the main reasons I got involved in PFS, along with a lot of others I'm going to share with you. But see, that was really important. If I could show you how you could get there, if I could show you how to be the star that you always wanted to be but weren't able to be for whatever reason, can you think of any reason why you wouldn't get involved with me and let me help you do that?
Well, I've never been in sales before. I don't know if I can sell.
Listen, what do you do now?
I'm a waiter.
Did you know how to wait before you started waiting?
No.
No. Were you nervous when you started? I mean, like, because you have to learn the menu, you have to learn how to take the order, you have to make sure that you get it right, and you have, there's certain etiquette and all that involved.
Sure.
Did you know all that stuff? Were you nervous when you first started?
Very nervous. Sure.
Yeah. But you did it anyways, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And today you've done it so much that it's routine now, and you don't even think about when you go in. You could probably do it almost blindfolded. Am I correct?
That's true.
Right. So why would this be any different?
Well, I just have no experience. Well, you're right.
Well, you didn't have any experience there
Sure.
either, did you?
Right. That's right.
So, but you had the guts to give it a try, right?
Yes, I did.
And you're happy you did that because now you have a profession that takes care of you, so, at least in a certain level of comfort, right?
Yeah, kind of.
But if you could double or triple or quadruple your income by learning something new, why would you prevent yourself the opportunity to do that?
Would you help me?
Would you like me to help you?
Sure.
Great, absolutely, then. You see, the key thing is all I did was ask him questions. I didn't really say anything. I mean, I might say some other things like, in addition to that, when I'm talking to him, I would say stuff like, you have kids, right, Danny? How many kids do you have now, Danny?
I have one.
You have one. And you want to help that child get educated, right? Wouldn't you love to do all kinds of great things for that child?
You better believe it.
Well, see, to me that's important. I have two little kids. My kids right now are 8 and 9 years old, and I want to make sure you go to college. And I know if I kept a job, and they got accepted to Stanford, I couldn't afford it right now. And the only way for me to do that is to grow my income and make more money than I'm making right now, right? I mean that right? If today you found out your kid got accepted to Stanford, is there any way you could afford to pay the tuition?
No way.
No. And you would want to do that. It wouldn't be the absolute worst scene in your life that your kid was academically unbelievable. They got accepted to Stanford, and you couldn't afford to send them there, and you had to settle for some other college
Yes.
that's affordable.
Right.
That would be a nightmare, right?
Yes, it would.
Could you live with yourself if that happened?
No, I couldn't.
See, I didn't want to live with myself, so we need to change something. We need to make more money then, don't we?
Yes, we do.
See, that's another thing I'd hit on, right? Something like that. Or I'd hit on, another thing is, hey, listen, do you live exactly where you want to live right now? You're living in your dream home right now, Danny?
No.
If money weren't
Ask
an
my
issue,
wife.
if money weren't an issue, where would you live?
Right next door to Chris Howard.
Right next door to Chris Howard. And that's great. And what does a house like that run?
Probably about $1 million.
About $1 million. And then you got to decorate another 200 or 300 grand and all that stuff, right? So that's never going to happen if you keep going in the direction you're going around. Am I pretty close?
You're real close.
Pretty close, right?
Yes.
So then if that's a dream of yours, and if there was a way for you to accomplish that would just take some energy on your part, right? Why wouldn't you go for that?
Sign me up.
See? That's the kind of questions you ask.
Right.
You just they're direct. Why wouldn't you go for that? And then shut up and listen. They'll tell you, right? And then you help them. There is not a person that you couldn't close if you just use the technique. I'm telling you. Everybody I ever wanted to recruit, that I really wanted to recruit, I recruited them. I didn't always recruit them the first time. Sometimes I had to call them 18 straight months like I had Rick. But everybody that I personally decided I'm recruiting this person, I started the process, and I call it the drip, right? I'm that drip guy. Drip, 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 Chinese torture. I just keep coming back and keep coming back and keep coming back in a nice professional way until you're in. See, you have to develop that resolve. I had that resolve. I knew I wasn't going to recruit everybody the day I started. I knew it was going to take me a lot of time. I knew the better the person was, it was probably going to take me months to recruit them. Because people that are really doing well already are very committed people, and it took them a great commitment to get where they're at. And to make a change from what they're already experiencing success in is scary, number one, and they don't make commitments lightly. So it takes more time and energy to recruit that individual. And you give up on the first or second pass, and you can't recruit people that way. It takes a lot of time. But you can if you stay with it, especially if you start the recruiting process. You're not so good right now, but a year from now or 12 months or 18 months, you're a lot better than you were then, and now you know more technique and better ways of talking and explaining what you're trying to do to get them involved. Next question.
Hector, I get this one a lot. Is this like WMA?
What's WMA like?
Well, went to one of their meetings. They stay there real late. They talk about insurance and other stuff.
Do you like what they do? Which is kind of to me the Bible of selling, you know. And the one thing that I think a reason a lot of people don't listen to them is because it's generic. It's not specific. But the thing that it did for me is it taught me this technique that I'm able to do right now. And obviously you can tell I haven't been in the field since 1991, all right? If you put me in the field tonight, I'd be closing everybody I get in front of. I'm just telling you right now. I just would, because I know how to ask questions. I know how to get people moving in the right direction. I just know how to do it. It's just ingrained in me. I can do it. Everything I'm doing right now is completely impromptu. Doesn't matter what comes up. It's just a technique. When you learn the technique, it always works. Okay? So I listened to How to Master the Art of Selling tapes a couple days a week, a couple of hours a day, about 5 or 6 days a week, for about 3 straight years. Because it's the repetition that's important. Some of you listened to that tape I did last year. Really, that tape would probably work if you just listened to that tape. You wouldn't really listen to the other one because it has all the closes and all. The thing you have to listen, when you're listening to that tape or when you listen to the tape that we're making today, really pay attention how I'm always asking a question and phrasing a question. That's the most important thing. That's the technique you have to learn how to do, is ask a question that will help you lead them in the right direction. It takes some practice, okay? And you have to do a lot of practice. Most of you don't have enough experience. I have a little edge on you. When I was in the retail jewelry business, I would sit down and try to close, 40 or 50 people or more a day, every day of the 5-6 days a week for 5.5 years. I did that. Okay, so you multiply that out over 50 times. Say I work 20 to 25 days a month, right? I mean, 50 times 20 is what, 1,000? 1,000 people times 60 months. So that's 60,000 people probably I sat in front of and tried to get them involved in a product over a 5.5 year period. That's a lot of experience. I've been on more presentations than any of you will ever probably be on in your life, okay? I have done it more than anybody. It's just the fact. And I've been on more PFS appointments than most of you will ever do either. I've seen it all, okay? And it's practicing. So some of you just need to increase the number of appointments you go on. You go on too few. You just go on like 3 a month or 4 a month or some ridiculous number like that, and you expect all these great things to happen. Some of your RVPs are on about 4, 6, 8 appointments a month. It's pathetic. I mean, I don't know how you even can look at yourself in the mirror, to be honest with you. When you're saying you want to be successful, you want to be financially independent, you want to make big money, and you don't do any of the things that it takes to get there, which is having an enormous work ethic, initially at least. I'm going to tell you the dream tomorrow about why you should do it, but you got to have that up front. I still have not met anyone in PFS that has worked as hard as I worked when I was on it that period of time, consistently, month in, month out, week in, week out, and not anybody. Everybody's up and down and up and down, and they let every little thing get in the way, go on tangents all the time. It's not that complicated when you have a goal and you know where you want to go. Find out what you want your life to look like. Like Jan and I, we sat down, we figured out in 5 years we want to be done. What does that mean? That means for 5 years you better be on it like this, and everything's on the back burner except your family and your spiritual life. And I'm talking everything, and that's what I did. All right. The thing that I did is I put everything on the back burner. The only thing I paid attention to was my family, my spiritual life for that 5-year period. Everything else was secondary. I used to play tournament tennis. I loved going to the movies. If you knew how much I liked going to the movies, and I didn't do it for about a 5-year stretch, if you knew how much I used to like to play tennis, and I stopped cold turkey, I stopped doing everything, right, babe? Everything. You say, well, that's pretty severe. Hey, not if you knew how I live now, it's not severe. That was a piece of cake compared to the way it is now. I'm telling you right now. You just don't believe that's going to happen. That's why you never make the commitment you need to make. If you believed, just do it. Get it over with. Get it done. Next question.
Great retreat.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, being able to come down here. Hey, I have a question. I live in Utah, and Utah is saturated with multi-level. I know you talk a lot about upline, downline, recruits, and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Got a lot of great people that I know that would really benefit from this, first off, but also I know that they do a great job. How do you get over the objective of that multi-level syndrome?
Okay, that's a good question because there's a lot of it in Southern California, a lot of it everywhere. Okay, I mean multi-level is, you know, every product you can imagine has been structured into multi-level. I don't care what it is. So you're always going to run into that issue. The key is that you have to differentiate yourself from that. I never ever looked at PFS as being multi-level personally. I never thought of it like that. I never even, to me, it's not multi-level. To me, it's multi-commission, but where it differentiates. I'm just telling you how I think, okay, because I think it's important. How you think dictates how you act, okay? So the way I looked at it is a profession because you have to be licensed. The products we market and service are sold by financial specialists all over the country. If you're a CFP, a financial certified financial planner, they sell the same products we sell. Period. End of story. They do basically the same service that we do, right? Okay, so I thought of that's what I was. I was a financial service professional that had the ability to hire a financial service specialist and override their production, like a real estate broker. That's how I looked at the business. And the one thing that I didn't like about multi-level, because believe me, I had a lot of credibility issue when I got involved, because I first did Amway. Right when I was 22 years old, I saw Amway. Wow, my God, I was so excited about Amway. I can't even tell you. I did 2 straight years. I drove from Laverne to Pasadena every Wednesday night to an op meeting, paid my $5 to go in the op meeting. They charge you to go in their op meetings, right? And I did that, took people. I recruited about 4 people in 2 years and made $86 my best month in 2 years, okay? And I was committed. I asked Jan, I'd have parties at my house and do the plan and sell some products, and had Jan selling products to her friends at work. We made no money. So my credibility with Jan went like way down, okay? Because I thought I was going to get rich, right? And then I got into Herbalife. And I did Herbalife for over a year, right? Same thing, back at it, the plan, meetings at restaurants, etc., etc. I did all that stuff, right? I made some money. We actually sold some stuff. We were making $1,000, $2,000 a month, part-time with Herbalife. But it wasn't professional. It was just all hype all the time. No, they didn't teach anything, right? And I didn't like the way it felt personally. I'd go to these meetings like this, right? We'd have meetings like this. Nobody taught anything. It was just about how excited I got a check for this month, and this is where car I drive and all that's all it was, okay? A bunch of BS. And I didn't like it. It didn't feel right, so we ended up doing that. Then I tried another thing called MeadowFresh, which is a milk substitute. I said, this is it, the milk substitute. We're going to make a fortune selling a milk substitute, right? So now I've been through my warm market 14 times, right? I have no credibility with anybody. Oh, here comes Hector, man. Another thing he's doing, right? And so, including Jan, when Jan started seeing me do this, right, she said, oh my God, I can't believe it. She goes, I don't want anything to do with it. You do it. I'm not getting involved. She helped me with these other things. She didn't want to help me with this one because she thought I was a flake, okay? True story. And so, but I saw PFS as being different. So I said, okay, to myself, right? Because some of you go, my partner's not supportive. Your partner's not supportive because, number one, you don't work and you don't make any money. Okay? Period. If you worked and made money, your partner would be so supportive your head would spin. Okay? So what happens is I I just said, okay, because I knew how to close, see? I already knew how to close. So I just started I just said, I'm just going to go see some people and see how this works myself before I try to start recruiting people, right? I got licensed in May of 1983. I recruited my first person in July of 84. Okay? It took me like over a year, right? I was writing sales. I was writing 6, 7, 8 sales a month. I never went to an op meeting. I would come in at the op meeting at the end, right? And I didn't go to Saturday training because I used to work Saturdays, and I'd walk in with 6 apps. Here, John, here's 6 apps. I got to go see you. Leave, right? Never went to a meeting, writing all kinds of business. Can you imagine a guy come walk in your office with 6, 7 apps, leaving, and never goes to a meeting? That was me. That's what I was doing, right? Because selling was a piece of cake, cash value term, like John said. What do you mean? Think about what? You know, that's what I thought. I closed everybody, and so I didn't have a lot of credibility. I have a point, believe me. Okay.
Okay. Also, how do you?
Okay, so what you do is you do this, okay? So if you talk to somebody who's, oh, no, I'm not interested in multi-level, again, it comes back, let's say you say that. Say that to me. I'm not interested in multi-level.
I'm not interested in multi-level.
What part of it aren't you interested in?
Just happen to get so many people underneath me to make any money.
So if you didn't have to get a lot of people underneath you to make money, would it be more attractive?
Sure.
Fantastic. Then we need to sit down and let me show you this thing really clearly, because in our business, honestly, we're at a point in our business life that you can make $100,000 a year and not ever recruit somebody, really. I mean, you literally can do that. That's not the best way to do it long range, but if that's how you want to go about it, that's how you want to start, let's start that way. But let me show it to you. Would you do me the honor of letting me show you that? And then after you get all the facts and you know what you're really saying no to, then you can make a more informed decision. Because, you know, honestly, you seem like the kind of person that would never make a decision until they had all the facts. Am I correct in assuming that?
Right.
Fantastic. Let's sit down. Let's get all the facts. Then you can make a decision that's intelligent. Does that make sense?
You bet. Explain how you rebuild your credibility.
By getting results. By getting results. Simple. That's how I built my credibility with Jan, is that I started bringing home checks. I'd go, here's $800. You go, whoa. You know, I'd give her, right? I started giving her some checks, and he started going, man, you're actually making money doing that, right? I recruited my first person. This is how I recruited my first person. This is the honest truth, okay? I walk in. We had some friends, Art and Stacy Fernandez. They're still friends, but we are not economically compatible anymore. And I walk in. I was part-time here, right? I just went on a sale. I think I closed 2 sales or something that night, right? I walk in. They're visiting, right? And I come in like at 10 o'clock or whatever, and they're still there. And I'm like bouncing. Oh, man, I can't believe it, man. I just closed 2 sales. I made like $1,000. Oh, my God. This is unbelievable. This business is incredible. Tonight, like 3 or 4 hours, I made $1,000. Can you believe that? And he's like looking at me, because I'm not like that. See, that's not me. I'm casual. I'm like, really, hey, how you doing, Kevin? You know, I'm pretty low key. I mean, that's my nature. But I was excited, you know, because I was making money, and to me, it seemed like I was stealing, because how could you make like $1,000 in 4 hours, right? Because I used to sell $1,000 wedding sets that took me like 2 hours to close the sale on a $1,000 wedding set, and I'd make $70, okay, on a $1,000 wedding set. And then I saw, if you sold a $1,000 life sale, if you're an RVP, you can make $1,000. Do you see where I'm coming from? The difference to me was like, you would have to be so stupid not to do this. That's how I felt. You know, that's how I felt. Like, you got to be an idiot not to do this. This is like printing money. So I just said that, and he goes, well, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm just doing this thing, you know, and I tell him how it works, you know. And he says, think I could do that? I said, oh, I guess. I don't know, you know. Sure, are you interested? He said, yeah, I'm interested. I said, well, why don't you go to this meeting? And that time I wasn't going to the meetings because I used to work Tuesday nights. I used to work till 10 o'clock. And so I never went to the meetings because I couldn't. So I said, why don't you just go to the meeting, and I'll meet you there after work. And so he went, I go, and he's there, right? And boom, recruited him. Became an RVP and quit. You know? But so what? I didn't. Right? I'm still here. He's working in the jewelry. I'll talk about irony, man. I used to be in the jewelry business. Now he works in the jewelry business, right? He probably makes he probably makes $50,000 a year. I don't know what he makes. But I don't work in the jewelry business. That's where I came from. He goes to the jewelry business, leaves PFS. I leave the jewelry business, come to PFS, and voila, different lives completely. The wild decisions, choices, man, are powerful, guys.
Hi, Hector.
Hi.
Thanks so much for everything.
Welcome.
Just a quick question. Often I'll be sitting down, have all my papers out to make my phone calls and set up appointments, and I do like role playing with myself, just sitting there trying to figure out with each person, if the husband answers, what do I say? If the wife answers, what do I say? And I waste a lot of time. I'll make maybe 2 phone calls in a night.
Well, you're not, what you're doing is you're avoiding.
It's very
That's
uncomfortable.
what you're doing. That's what a lot of people do. A lot of people, what they'll do is they'll go, okay, I know I got to make these 10 calls, but I gotta organize my files first. This newsletter is so important, man. I got to get this newsletter popped out before I make these calls. You know, I got this. You computer nerds. Whew. I mean, computers are awesome, but computers can make you go broke in PFS because you need to be out talking to people, not looking at a screen. All right. So what you're doing is you're just avoiding. That's all it is. So what you've got to do is forget about what you're going to say. Prepare for that at another time, and when you sit in front and you're going to make calls, make the calls. Get on the phone, even though you're scared, even though you probably will mess up. It doesn't really matter, you know, because you know what? If you mess up, when you get better, call them back in a month or 2. Really, literally, I did that a lot. I blew a bunch of sales, a bunch of appointments, because in the beginning I didn't know what I was doing in terms of this business, so I made some mistakes and I said the wrong things. And then once I got the information that I needed to have, right, that would have closed that particular person, I'd call them back up. I say, hey, listen, how you doing, Lynn? Listen, I called you a few months ago, but I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I'm more clear on everything now. You know, we need to get back together and let me show you what I'm doing. I'm telling you, I feel so bad that I let you down like that. I cost you a fortune by not getting together with you. It's going to cost you a fortune if you don't sit down with me. When can we get together so I can show you what I was going to show you initially? And then he'll say something like, well, you know, I'm really busy. I'm not really interested right now. I said, listen, Lynn, if I could make a difference of 100 or 200,000 or more in your lifetime over the next 20 or 30 years, can you think of a logical reason why you wouldn't get together with me? He goes, no, I guess not. Well, then let's get together. I'm not asking for your first male child. I'm just asking for 20 or 30 minutes so we can sit down and I can talk to you about what we're going to do, okay? That's what I would do. I'd call him back up and I would do just like you say, you said that? Yes, why not? What's he going to do? He's a friend of mine, no, Lynn. You know, even if he's an acquaintance. He's not going to hit me, right? And ask directly. I did that all the time. And that's what you need to do. Don't be, be afraid of making mistakes because you're not, even I tell you don't be, you're still going to be. Be afraid, but do it anyways, okay? That's the key. That's the answer to your dilemma right there, okay? Yeah, well, let's say I call you up. What was your name again?
Rayanne.
Rayanne. Hi, Rayanne. This is Hector Lamarck. The reason I'm calling is I was talking to Jan Millsap, and she told me that you were the kind of person that was, if they had an opportunity to save money or make more money or improve their financial situation, that you're the kind of person open to that. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I'm calling to set up a point so I can help you do that. Which one of the things are you more interested in, saving money or making money? Or which one do you think is more
Getting out of debt.
Getting out of debt. Fabulous. Okay, so we'll focus on that when we get there then, okay? So I've got this Thursday at 6 available, or I've got next Monday at 8 o'clock. Which one of those days fits into better to your schedule?
Monday at 8.
Monday 8, fabulous. Okay, put it in your calendar, and I'll put it in my calendar, and boom, we're in. That's how I would do it, just like that. Be more direct, guys. Most of you are too wishy-washy. I think one of the things that Mark said is just ask. You'd be amazed if you asked what people would do. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you.
Hi, Hector.
Hi.
This is kind of a different question. My husband and I both work full-time, and my husband also, for the last year, has been doing PFS part-time, hoping to go full-time soon.
Okay.
But having to work full-time, I kind of have a dilemma. Is I would like to know what are some of the things that Jan did in the beginning that really helped you as far as supporting you and actually helping you with the business, because I'm kind of like, I'm not actively involved, but I want to do whatever it takes to help him.
In any way you
yeah.
can. And there's a lot of things you can do. That's a really good question because in the beginning, real beginning, when I was part-time, for example, what Jan did, and actually she did that all the way through, and still does it today. But back then she worked a job. She used to be an X-ray technician, and she worked at that time. She worked weekends, all weekends. She used to work on the weekends, and like the whole weekend. I mean, like 12 or 14 hours on each day. And we had 2 little kids. What she did, she took care of everything. The most important thing, but there's a gotcha here. If your spouse takes care of everything, you better be working. Okay. I mean, that's the key. The thing is that she took care of the house. I was a Mr. Fix-It kind of guy, okay? I used to cut the grass. I used to fix the car. I know how to do a lot of things. My dad, I grew up with no money, so I learned how to do all those things. I know how to do carpentry. I know how to fix cars. I know how to do a lot of things. I know how to paint. I know how to do all that stuff. But when I decided to do PFS, I stopped doing all those things. I no longer cut the grass. We hired a gardener. I no longer fixed the car. Jan took the cars in to be serviced. I didn't do any of those things, okay? And I totally focused on the business, and she totally focused on taking care of our life so that I wouldn't have to think about those things, okay? That's what she did. She totally took care of every detail, paying the bills, taking care of the kids, taking care of the house, taking care of the cars get fixed, all the stuff that I was usually doing before. And so, but what I did is the time that I had free, I worked. I made calls. I went and dropped by and saw people. I mean, the one thing I never wanted her to do is to catch me sitting down, watching TV, doing something I wasn't supposed to do when I had free time. And you know what? If you're doing that when your spouse is doing all this other work, you deserve to get your butt chewed. I mean, you deserve it. And you ladies or you men, whoever it is, you ought to chew their butt if they're sitting on their rear end and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing when they're selling you a dream that they're going to get financially independent. They better be busy getting it done and getting results. So if you ought to make a deal with your husband, say, I'm going to take care of everything, but you better have your rear end on, and I'm going to have a briefcase and a suitcase on the porch, and you better choose one or the other, okay?
Thank you. Hi, Hector. Hi, Jan. Can you role play with me? Me and my husband, we have very good jobs. I'm a professor, and my husband is a technician. And we have a great retirement program at our jobs. But I hate life insurance. I don't believe in life insurance. And we have 3 children. Our last child was born with cerebral palsy. But I still don't like insurance, period. Can you help me?
Is this you really, or is this somebody?
No, this is a client that I
Client.
have.
Okay. I was saying, you're in the wrong place, man.
No, this is a client.
Okay, this is a client actually said this. Okay, they're professors, they're professionals. The question I'd ask them, Liz, what's their name?
Helen and Greg.
I say Helen and Greg. Both of them feel this way?
Mm-hmm.
I say Helen and Greg. I can appreciate that you don't like insurance because I certainly don't like it. If I didn't have to make an insurance premium another day as long as I lived, I would be the happiest person that you'd ever find. But the fact is, there are some risks that we have. One of them is that either one of you die prematurely. If you have enough cash, do you have enough cash set aside right now if one or the other dies prematurely that could take care of you? Completely?
For about 3 years.
Is that long enough for you? Do you feel comfortable that 3 years long enough for you?
Not really, but I just hate life insurance.
Is it that you hate the premium or you hate the concept of the product?
I hate the concept of the product. It's like I'm gambling on my life.
Okay. So the same thing. Do you have auto insurance?
Yes.
Yeah. Why do you have it?
Because I have to. It's a law.
Okay. So, but what would happen? Do you have health insurance?
Yes, through my job. If
So
I
if
didn't have to pay that, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't either? Wow. You're really a professor.
Yes, I am.
Where do you teach? Where do you teach?
I teach at UCLA.
I just want to make sure I don't send my kids there. Really. If somebody gave me that, I'd be gone, honestly. That is so ignorant and so not who I want to even. I don't even want that person as a client personally.
I just feel that if something was to happen to me and my husband, it would make my children better people to have to struggle through.
Well, God bless you. Then maybe it will. Honestly, I don't agree with you. I think for the few cents a day that you'd have to invest to make sure that your family went on as they are now, it's pretty ridiculous that you would, for that. But the fact is, if that's the case, and I tell this a lot of times to men. I said, because a lot of men say, if I die, I don't care. My wife's going to be. I said, look, if you're not really too concerned about taking care of your family financially right now, why don't you just leave now? Why are you waiting until you die? It's the same thing. I mean, it's really the same thing. If you don't like the financial responsibility, why even have it now?
But I like what you did, so I'll give you referrals. So.
Okay, I'll take them.
Okay, she gave me 16 referrals,
Fabulous.
and they're all turning
God bless
very
her.
well.
Yeah, that's great. Take them. But that's really one of those which honestly, this doesn't happen that often. I mean, this is not a common thing. It does happen every now and then. I've had them, and in that case, see ya. Get the referrals. Yeah, get the referrals and go.
Hi, Hector. Let's see, not everybody in the business has been doing this a long time or makes $100,000 a year. Maybe they're new or they're part-time, and let's say you get a referral, and you call the referral up, and you just, we were taught to say that, hey, we did this is Victor Gurnis with PFS, we did an F&A for John and Mary, and they said that when it came to money matters, that you guys were very open-minded and always willing to learn more about money, and do better. Were they correct in saying so? And usually, about 8 or 9 times out of 10, I can set the appointment.
Okay.
But if they say,
good.
yeah, let's say that they're upper echelon and they think that they may have a good job, or they say that I ran into, I'm pretty much financially set already, Hector. I have, mutual funds, no load Janus mutual funds, and good 401k through work and things of that nature, and I make a pretty good salary, so I really don't think I could benefit from what you do.
Well, number one, I just want to commend you. That's fantastic. You're doing some of the right things already. Can I ask you a couple of questions?
Sure.
Do you have a debt freedom date set already?
Well, I don't, but I just have a mortgage, and that's basically all the debt I have.
That's all you have right now?
Yeah,
Do you know when that's going to be paid off exactly?
Another 20 years.
20 years?
Yeah, I got 10.
Would you be interested in paying it off in possibly as soon as half the time?
Well, yeah, if I
If
could.
there was a way that you could do the technique that you could do,
Sure.
are you open to finding out about that?
Well, yeah, obviously.
Okay, great. Do you have a financial independence date? Do you have a FIN number? Do you have that set up already?
I don't know what that is.
You have somebody you work with right now? A
Yeah.
financial
Yeah, he
analyst?
handles all my money. He's a broker.
And you
team
don't,
leader.
and he hasn't done that for you? Put together a FIN number?
No.
Well, it just disturbs me. That's really kind of sad, because that's one of the most basic things he should have done for you, is put together a FIN number for you. So you don't have one, huh?
No. Well, my 401,
Your 401k, sorry.
no, my 401k is great though. It's 100% match.
That's
I've been
excellent.
putting into it
And
for
you're
10
maxing
years.
that out right now?
Yes.
Very good. That's fantastic. Are you positive you have the exact correct asset allocation mix right now on your 401k?
Well, I don't know for sure.
Your analyst didn't do that for you?
No.
Mm.
You-
It doesn't sound like he's really doing what he should be doing for you, just from what you're telling me.
Right.
And it probably would make sense for you to get a second opinion, just to make sure you're doing everything right. Would you mind if I did? It'd be complimentary. I'd just like to take a look and make sure you're doing everything, because already, just in asking you these 3 questions, I already know there's 3 things, major things, by the way, that he should be doing that he's not. And would you mind if I just looked at that and made sure you're doing all the right things? If you see something to value, if you want to do something with me, that's fine. We can go ahead and do that. If you don't, it's not a problem. But I just, somebody that's as sharp as you and that's going in the right direction and doing a lot of the right things, there's no sense in not doing all the right things, and I can help you do that. When can we get together so I could help you, you take a look at that and make sure you're doing that?
Probably on the weekend. Be the
Saturday,
best
or
time.
which day's better, Saturday or
Probably
Sunday?
Sunday afternoon.
Sunday afternoon, like 3 or 4?
Yeah, afternoon would be good.
4?
4 is good, yeah.
4. Okay, great. Well, I thought let's get together. Why don't you do this? Do me a favor. Get all your paperwork out, all the things you're doing right now, because I'll review those for you, and then I'll just make sure. And again, I want you to be comfortable. I'm not going to pressure you. I'm not going to have you do anything you don't want to do. But based on what you told me, it's just, it could be tens of thousands of dollars, possibly more than that I could make a difference in, and I just want to make sure you're doing all the right things at a minimum. Okay.
Fair.
Great. Look forward to meeting with you on Sunday at 4
Okay,
o'clock.
thanks. Just got one more.
So when they don't have something, when they say they have it, just ask them those questions. They're never going to have that because financial, even the CFPs, they really don't do that good of a job. All they look at is their investment part of what they're doing typically, and some insurance. They don't do the whole ball of wax, and you're going to offer more value than any CFP is going to do. I'm telling you right now.
I just had another quick one is prospecting. We talk a lot about prospecting. We've been taught to prospect. Danny's a great prospector, and follow-up, I think, is the key. But what we were taught is, hey, this is Victor. I met you in the mall, wherever, 2 or 3 days ago. I put some information together for you, and I wanted to get it to you. There's 2 ways we could do it. Either I could have you come down to my office, or I could pop by and drop some information off to you. Which would work out better for you? Normally, we can get an appointment, but sometimes they just, they say they're not interested.
Well, the reason they're saying they're not interested is because you're cold and they don't know who you are really, and
right.
They're basically they're afraid number one, you're going to waste your time, or they just don't know you. I mean, when
right.
you're in a cold market, you're going to run into that. I mean, that's just going to be part of the equation, I think. So you can try to overcome that. I mean, what is the most common thing? They just don't want to get together with you?
Yeah, like you said, I know that they're telling me that it's going to be a waste of their time, but how do you bring that out?
The same way that I just did with you before. You say, listen, let me ask you a couple of questions before we get off the phone. Would you mind if I did that, Victor?
No.
One, do you have a debt freedom date? Do you know exactly the date you're going to be completely debt free? Or do you have a plan to get debt free right now?
No.
Are you interested in being debt free?
Yes.
If I could put together for you a doable debt freedom plan that made sense to you and that you felt comfortable with, would you be open to exploring that?
Yeah, I'd be open to exploring it.
Okay, great. That's all I'm asking. So when can we get together? I've got Wednesday or Thursday open this week.
Okay.
You just told me yes, so then that's what I would do.
Hi, Hector.
Hi.
Thank you for this time of letting us meet with you. One of the ways that you encourage me most, and I'm sure we all can vouch for this, is how you encourage us to do self-improvement. And I really am excited about that because I'm finding there are some parts of me I really do like. I'm not so bad, but there are some parts of me I really do want to change. And one of the books that I'm reading now is Og Mandino's The Greatest Salesman in the World.
Great book.
Can you give me a vision, or just give me in your own words, what is the greatest thing? I feel like a baby in a candy store. What would you encourage me on, and what would you say to me just as a result of reading that book?
Well, I mean, one of them is just being persistent. I mean, I think one of the most important things you could be is persistent, because in the beginning, you don't have a lot of skill level, right, and your technique's bad. And persistence is the only thing that's going to allow you to develop that over time. So, I mean, I think being persistent in the beginning is one of the most important characteristics that you can have, is do that. And the other thing is just continue to improve. I mean, I think, starting the process of self-improvement, the thing I see most people do, and I think most people, especially they start being successful, are guilty of, is they do a lot of things to get better early in their career, but they don't continue that process when they start prospering. I see that in my own hierarchy all the time. You know how I tell? It's because the way you talk doesn't change. The things you talk about never change. It's always the same story over and over. There's not the level of the ideas and stuff that I'm hearing from you don't ever change. And that means you're not working on yourself. You're not changing your thought process. And that's really critical. You've got to always be doing that. We limit ourselves so much in the fact that all you have to do to be humbled, walk into any bookstore and look at how little you know, and that just tells you where you're at about everything. There is so much to know about everything. And all we're saying is become an expert in one area, the area of people and human development and that sort of thing, and that will make you a fortune, I'm telling you right now. So, I mean, just continue on that path, being persistent.
Thank you for your leadership and wisdom.
You're welcome. Scott, there's 3 more questions here, okay? You 4 guys, and we're done, okay?
Okay, so, and you've answered this in a roundabout way a few times, but so we've met. I invited you into the office for an interview.
Uh-huh.
We spent about 20 minutes, and the last question I always asked, have I piqued your interest this time? And everybody says, oh, yeah. And I said, so we got to get back together and go into more detail at a later time with your spouse, or you can come back to the orientation. So then I call you back, and you say, or vice versa, you say, I've thought about it, and that type of business just really isn't for me.
How do you
Or
do
I
that?
said that to you
Okay.
now.
First of all,
And you've met with me once already.
First of all, It's how you ask the question. So you're not asking the question, in my opinion, correctly. If after the op meeting, the question I would ask, I'd say, claim. Are you excited about what you saw tonight?
Yeah.
Does it make sense? That, I mean, you're excited that we're a great company with great products that do the right thing for the consumer?
Yeah, everything
How about the
looked real
compensation?
good.
How about the compensation form? Is that pretty incredible?
Yeah, look, I mean, everything looked awesome
It looks
tonight.
great, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So based on what you saw tonight, can you think of any logical reason why you wouldn't go ahead and at least give it a try and get started?
No, I mean, the only thing is I work about 60 hours a week right now, so
Okay,
to
so
fit it in would be...
challenging. That's only. Is there any way that you could reduce those hours, or would you lose your job if you reduce the hours?
It's pretty much set. I mean, 55 to 60 a week right now, and that's part of the reason why I'm here.
Mandatory. You have to do that.
Pretty much,
And
yeah.
those hours are from what time to what time?
Some days it's 9 to 9. Some days it's 9 to 5, or 8 to 5.
Do you know your schedule? Does it change all the time?
I
You
make
know,
my
like a
own.
weekend-
I make my own schedule.
Oh, okay. You make your own. Oh, perfect then.
Yeah.
So then, what you can do is you can structure it around your appointments then.
Yeah,
Or
I
you
could-
can structure your appointments around your schedule.
Sure.
Okay. So then that's not really an issue. You can just work it at that pace then.
Right.
All right. So time's not an issue then, is it?
No, probably not.
Okay, great. Fantastic then. And so I would get a commitment there. So if you say yes, what I would do, see, this is where I see that a lot of you make mistakes too. We'll get back together. Why are you getting back together? If they say yes now, I am closing you now. I am not getting back to you with you later. That drives me bananas with my base shop too. They get something, they say, yeah, I'm interested. Okay, well, let's set an appointment for next Thursday. Why next Thursday? Why don't you sit down with them right there, start the paperwork process, start their list, but they don't have their address book. They know who the people are. Tell them to give you the names. We'll get the phone numbers later. Let's get it done right now. If somebody said, yeah, this makes sense. I want to buy your insurance and your investments and do a loan. Okay, well, I tell you what. Why don't we get together next Thursday then? Would any of you do that? That's really stupid, right? But you do that with recruits all the time. So what I'm saying is I wouldn't give them a chance to have a second thought. See, you shouldn't give them a chance to do that. Do whatever you can. Maybe you won't be able to get everything done, but start the process. At a minimum, start the list right that night too, you know. Start the paperwork. You're going to have all the information. Get what you can get done. And then let's say, hey, listen, who are the top 10 people that if you car broke down and you could call them, they'd come get you? Let's start with those people. Well, I don't know all their numbers. I don't care. I don't need their numbers right now. I need their names. You know, John Podolsky, Chris Howard, you know, Jan, you know, Lamarck, you know, Kevin Bildren. I'd be writing those names down, right? And then if I called you back and you said, you know, I've been thinking it's not for me, that's not really true. What's really happened is that you don't think you can do it. It's not that it's not for you. It's never that it's not for you. Okay? It's always that you don't think you can do it. So what I would say, I'd say, look, Clayne, the other night you were totally excited. Today you're telling me it's not for you. When I hear that, what I hear is, I don't think I can do it, because you know you can't tell me with a straight face that if you thought you could make $200,000 or $300,000 or $400,000 a year that you wouldn't make a change, can you? You would do that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yes, you would. You know you would. So it's not a matter of whether it's not for you. It's a matter of whether you don't think you can do it. I'm telling you, I have spent enough time with you that I know beyond a shadow of a doubt you're the right kind of guy. You work hard. You're a good person. You're respectable. You have credibility. You have every single attribute that screams of success in our business. And I am not going to let you say no to you making $200,000 or $300,000 a year before you give it a shot. I'm not going to let you do that because you're too good. I'm not going to look at you on the street 5 years and see you in the same job with the 2 or 3 or 4% pay increase, and I'm making $400,000 or $500,000 or $600,000 a year, and you could have been there right with me. I'm not going to let you do that. Okay, so when are we going to get together and let's get this thing moving, all right?
Wow. Awesome.
See, that's how I would talk to somebody, just like that. I wouldn't be letting them do that. I mean, you close them.
One other quick thing. Can you spend just a second with, I mean, some new people and some people in the business, they may come to the op meeting when they have somebody and then not come to the op meeting. And then can you spend just a second talking about the importance of ownership and plugging in?
Well, the bottom line is that you're going to have people come in. You have to always constantly be reiterating the fact that if you don't come to every meeting, you have zero chance of being successful in PFS. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're new right here today, and you're really just getting going, or you're thinking about getting going, and if you don't make a commitment to come to every op meeting, every training meeting, every Fast Start School, every convention, every retreat, anything we do, you have zero. You see this? Zero chance of making it here. None. Okay? None. So that's a choice you're going to make, because it's going to come back and haunt you. You set a terrible leadership example. It shows you have no discipline, right? It shows you're not able to make a commitment, and no one's going to follow somebody that doesn't have any commitment and any leadership ability. They're not going to. So you cannot miss anything. As soon as I see people missing meetings, to me, gone. In my mind, they're not going to ever do it. They don't even have any discipline in their life. And this is a business that requires discipline. Any business you wouldn't think, if you had another business, you started a business, say you opened Joe's repair service, that you wouldn't show up every day to that place. If you started missing, people would come to your store to get something repaired. They go, Joe's not here today. Oh, maybe he'll be tomorrow. You come back again. Oh, Joe's not here again. Oh, I guess he doesn't work anymore. I'm going to go to another repair shop over here. They're not going to show up anymore. You've got to be there. Hey, listen, I missed a lot of meetings today, but the reason I miss a lot of meetings today is because I have organizations all over the doggone country, and I travel a lot. Before I had offices other places, there is no chance. The only way that I would have missed a meeting is if I was in the hospital on my deathbed. There's no other way that I would miss a meeting. None. Ever. Does that answer your question? Next person.
Hector, I'd like to thank you myself also for all the overcoming the objections that we're going over right now. I've had a hard time since last retreat, putting together my own goals. Can you maybe lay out a basic plan as to how all of us who really, really want to win and be RVPs like within 12 to 18 months, what should our main focuses be besides recruiting, all the other little things that we need to put in place, like you recommend reading books, getting better, working on ourselves. What things, can you put together a little plan?
It's really simple. I think people complicate this way too much, okay? People always ask me, what did you do? What was your plan? The truth is, my plan was to make sure every day I was on 2 or 3 or 4 appointments. That was my plan. I had no other plan other than that. I swear to you. Some of you had all your goals written out and all that stuff. The truth is, I had an income goal, what I wanted to make that year. I had a premium goal, what I wanted to do for the year, and how many people I wanted to recruit, and that was all my goals I had. And then I knew in order to hit those goals, every day I had to be doing something to make that happen. And so what I did is that from the minute I got up to the minute I went to bed, I was either on an appointment or trying to get on an appointment. That's all I ever did. If you want to know the secret to my success, that's the secret to my success. And I didn't waste time. And I checked my time every hour. I check, okay, Hector, what'd you do the last hour? What'd you get done? And that's what I did, literally. And some of you let hours go by, like all the morning, all the afternoon. You don't make a call. You don't go see somebody. You don't do anything. Some of you full-time, and you go a whole week and don't close a transaction. I see RVPs that are full-time, the month goes by, and they have $1,000 or zero premium and no recruits, and a whole 30-day goes by. 30 days! You know how many hours are in 30 days? You cannot be working. You cannot be focused. You cannot be serious. No possible way. None. If I didn't have anything going, my God, I would be so friggin' paranoid. If I didn't have 2 or 3 appointments every day, I would be a psycho. Literally, you ask Jan. If I didn't have stuff going on, I was miserable to be around. I was on the phone. I was dropping by and seeing people. I had my common sense books. So I'd get referrals. I'd say, man, I got to get something going. I'd get in my car. I'd drive over. I'd say, knock, knock, knock. Hi, Chris. My name's Hector Lamarck. John Paluski gave me your name. I just happen to be in the area. I've got something I want to share with you. I know it's not at the right time. I didn't really come prepared, but I have this book I wanted to give you. It's called Common Sense. It has some topics that we were going to discuss when we get together with you. I want to drop this. You have like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I could just talk to you real quick. And you say, Well, yeah, I guess so. Well, listen, I want to just show you this one thing right here. And I'd go over cash value, or I'd go over an IRA. I'd say, look, are you doing any of these things right now? Well, I don't know. Listen, do you have any more time right now? Do you think we could, you doing anything right now? Well, not really. Why don't you come on in? Okay, great. I'd be in there. I'd be doing a presentation. I'd close a sale. If he wouldn't give me an appointment, wouldn't do that right then, he says, I can't really, I'm in the middle of something right now. I say, listen, would you do me a favor? Could you get your calendar out, right? Let's go ahead and set up an appointment. And I set up an appointment, and I come back, and he's like, you really did that? Hell yes, I did that. Because I was scared to death that if I didn't have an appointment, 2 or 3 appointments every day, that my wife was going to be standing in front of that house with the raining, with my 2 little kids with the foreclosure sign on front, right? And I was driving up, and then as soon as I got there, they towed my car away. You think, I swear I thought about that every day. And some of you go, well, I got time. It'll happen someday. No, it's not. You better be busy. So busy you're dizzy in the beginning. And so I'm scaring some of you. I know that, but you know what? You might as well hear it now. Because if this runs you off, it ain't worth the crap anyways, okay? I should have said that, huh? But you know what? You know why I'm doing that is because, my gosh, it's true, number one. And sometimes that's all people understand is when you talk to them like that. They can't get it any other way, right? Because it's so great. The only frustration I have is that I am inept at communicating how big a deal this is for you in your life. And how if you just made a doggone commitment and made it happen, your life would radically change. You can't even believe it. It's amazing.
Hi, Hector. Go out on a field training appointment, presentation, the client appears interested, they want to do an F&A. We leave a brochure, we're going to come back, this is the information that we need out. As when we come back for the F&A input,
why do you do that? Why don't you do the F&A right then? Who taught you that?
Well, just because they don't have the information available.
Who taught you that?
On a first-time presentation?
Who taught you to do that?
I'll take blame myself.
Okay, well stop that, okay? You need to take the information right then. There's no reason to come back. Why are you going to come back? You're there, they're there, the stuff's there, go get it. Right?
Okay. Okay, well then that'll lead up to the next question.
Okay.
We don't know where our policies are.
Okay, I've got time, go look for them. Okay. While you're doing that, I'll ask your husband some other questions.
Okay, I looked for them. I found this one. I think we have some other policies too. I'm not sure where they are. I think.
Okay, well let's go ahead and finish all the stuff we can finish. You look for the stuff. I'll call you back tomorrow because it's really important. You're going to get the information for me, aren't you?
If I can find them, I'm not sure if I can find them.
If you can't find them, then we'll assume you don't have any other insurance. Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Great. Last question, and we're done. Okay, right here.
Hector, how do you move from going from an F&A, presenting the F&A, and then closing into the life sale? What would be a transition into that?
Well, when you come back with the information, you're going to have the insurance amount for them, right? I mean, that's going to be there, and you should already know how much money they can afford to spend, what's in their budget, and all that. So that when you get there, you just propose. You have the proposal that has 3 numbers there, right? Okay. So you going in should know what you're going to close them on going in there.
If they're really having a hard time with money, if they don't have a whole lot of money freed up.
Does this happen a lot?
Sometimes, if they're really tight.
If it happens a lot, you're in the wrong market.
Okay.
Okay. If it's a one-time, sometime thing, then what you got to do is you say, look, that's real important. Let's figure out how we can make sure that there's enough money in that budget. You go through their budget and work it out in their budget because they probably have more money than they think they have because they've never really taken a look how they spend their money. The other thing is you got to make sure that you get them on a debt elimination plan where you start eliminating the debt. And most importantly, you should recruit that person. If a person can't afford it, then they should be in your business, assuming they have credibility and all those things. So I would recruit them.
And then I have one last question. How do you get appointments not to cancel on you as much? Is there something you can say that will lock them in?
Well, you're always going to have that issue. If you're having a lot of cancellations, you're in a bad market, or you're working with somebody who doesn't have credibility, or you don't have any credibility. Okay, so if that's happening a lot, it's one of those things that's happening. Okay? Now, the way you get it, what was your name again?
Scott.
Scott, if I call you, when I set the appointment and say, Scott, this is what I need you to do. I need you, this is really important because I'm unbelievably busy right now, Scott, and I know you're busy and we don't want to waste each other's time. Do me a favor, you have a calendar, right? You keep a calendar?
Yes.
Appointment book? Why don't you put my name in there and here's my telephone number and I'm gonna put yours in mine. And if you have any kind of a challenge, you give me a call. Otherwise, I'm just going to show up, okay? I'm assuming that you're a person of your word. Am I correct in assuming that?
Yes.
Fantastic, okay? Then I'll see you at 8 o'clock on Thursday night then.
Thanks, sir.
Fantastic. That's what I would do. Hey, have a great afternoon. We'll see you tonight.